Everyone knows that the long-lost love of CEO Chu Yoyu of the Chu family, who has been missing for 13 years, is her untouchable sore spot. And his three younger sisters are even more arrogant. So when I showed up with a face that was identical to that long-lost love, everyone thought I was doomed. But as soon as I opened my eyes, I was met with Chu Yoyu's fiery gaze. Hold on, this situation is 12 parts wrong out of 10. In my memory, I was clearly the one bullying her. I just got back from a business trip, so why has Chu Yoyu become like a completely different person? I cleared my throat and warned her through gritted teeth. Have you been eating too many red beans or something? If you want to quit, just say so. The moment I finished speaking, the grip on my neck suddenly tightened. Chu Yoyu's eyes instantly cleared up. How come I never realized before that this girl was a masochist? It was like I had found her switch. I continued to provoke her. I get your malicious intent, but don't get too arrogant. You've got the strength of an ox you can't use up all day, huh? If you're so strong, go carry some manure. The more I scolded, the more fired up I got. If she wasn't still strangling me, I would have already taught her a lesson or two. The grip on my neck suddenly loosened, and I hastily took a step back. I looked at the dazed Chu Yoyu, scanning her from head to toe, and finally came to a conclusion. Is it my imagination? Why do you look older? Did you inject yourself with growth hormones behind my back, and even style your hair like a grown-up? In short, nothing about you seems normal. This is a far cry from the youthful Chu Yoyu in my memory. While I was lost in thought, those socialites sashayed over, looking at me with disdain. CEO Chu, don't let this man fool you. He must have researched the Sir's personality, which is why he's deliberately acting like this. I think you should just throw him out. With someone this shameless, there's no need to be polite. Faced with their jeers, Chu Yoyu, who had always defended me before, seemed to snap out of it just then. Her cold gaze fell upon me. Whatever your reason for approaching me, if you dare to parade Xiaofan's face in front of me, you better be prepared to pay a heavy price. Before she could finish her sentence, a strange ringtone suddenly went off. I'm a supporting character, how dare I be jealous? I'm just a passerby. I've long been enlightened. I snorted coldly. Chu Yoyu! Oh, Chu Yoyu! I was only on a business trip for 3 days, and you're already in the capital with your arms full, surrounded by handsome men. Chu Yoyu just stood there, frozen. She stared at me in disbelief, her gaze so intense it could burn a hole through me. As for me, I shifted my gaze to the group of socialites and took a deep breath. It's hunting time. What are you holding between your ears? Is it a Muslim taboo? And you? Calcium deficient as a child and love deficient as an adult, huh? If your family can afford it, have another kid. There's enough powder on your face to replaster an entire wall. My mouth was like a machine gun. These socialites had never seen anything like it. They could only cast pleading looks at Chu Yoyu. After all, CEO Chu hated it most when someone imitated her missing husband. This man didn't just imitate him, he even dared to be so arrogant. If they really went head-to-head, wouldn't CEO Chu skin him alive? I continued my verbal assault. Why are you so quiet now? Were you born a bad speaker, or are you just introverted? I was about to go full throttle, but I was only halfway through my sentence when a cold hand grabbed my wrist. Immediately after, an irresistible force jerked me away. Hey, my head filled with question marks, I was dragged by Chu Yoyu into an empty room. With a slam, the door was shut. Before I could react, Chu Yoyu pinned me against the corner of the wall. Her burning gaze was fixed on me. How do you know Chen Fan so well? Have you met Xiaofan before? Tell me, where is he? I really didn't understand what Chu Yoyu was going crazy about. I looked at her coldly. Chu Yoyu, are you out of your mind? Chen Fan is standing right here in front of you. Flesh and blood, or do you suspect I've been transmigrated? You have a birthmark on your lower back, and the nickname I gave you is Ya. Also, before I could finish, Chu Yoyu lunged at me and kissed me passionately. This kiss went from restrained to gradually deepening, finally becoming incredibly intense, as if she was afraid I would disappear the next second. A long time later, this long kiss finally ended. The doubt in my heart grew even stronger. Just as I was about to ask her what on earth had happened, Chu Yoyu's deep, hoarse voice sounded in my ear. Xiaofan, it's been 13 years. You finally come back to me. What 13 years? I frowned deeply, but before I could ask, I heard Chu Yoyu continue. 13 years ago, you were in a car accident. By the time I got to the scene, you were already gone. It was as if you had vanished from the face of the earth. Vanished from the face of the earth? I swallowed hard and plopped down on the sofa. All right, let your performance begin. Chu Yoyu sat down next to me, and at the thought of the 13 years without me, her face filled with pain. She had just begun. It's a long story. I raised my hand and smacked the back of her neck. Keep it short, don't be dramatic. Chu Yoyu fell silent for a moment, and her eyes immediately cleared. This familiar strength, this familiar hot temper. She was completely sure now. The person before her was absolutely her lover. She slowly recounted what had happened over the past years. Only then did I understand that 13 years ago, after the accident, I had mysteriously disappeared. From then on, Chu Yoyu and my 3 younger sisters became completely uncontrollable. My second sister, Chen Jiang, became withdrawn. She started an entertainment company on her own, and in just a few short years, it grew strong, becoming one of the 3 giants in the entertainment industry. My third sister, Chen Jing, is a renowned golden-handed surgeon throughout the capital, but beneath her gentle exterior lies a twisted yonder heart. My youngest sister, Chen Mo, became a top-tier celebrity, relying on her family background to act with impunity in the entertainment world. She has a hot temper and is ready to curse at anyone who displeases her. Not only that, after I disappeared, my daughter, Chu Nianfan, who was only 3 at the time, has also become the big sister gangster at school. In short, no one in this family is a pushover. After hearing all this, I was completely speechless. You have to understand, before I disappeared, my second sister was a chatterbox, my third sister was a clinger, my youngest sister was bright and cheerful, and Chu Nianfan used to follow me around every day, calling me daddy in her little voice. The sky has fallen. I took a deep breath, my emotions a tangled mess. It's okay, it's okay. Life isn't a dead end, there's still the path of death, right? Chu Yu coughed guiltily, like a child who had done something wrong. She gently tugged at the corner of my shirt. Xiao Fan, don't be angry. I rubbed my throbbing temples. Forget it. I'm back now anyway. It's time to whip this family back into shape. My gloomy chuckle and the wicked smile on my face sent a shiver down Chu Yu's spine. Her eyes were determined. Hubby, you don't need to worry about me. I narrowed my eyes dangerously. I'm very curious. How did you raise Chu Nianfan to become a school gangster? Chu Yu, I need an explanation. Chu Yu lowered her head. I didn't have time to look after her. Over the years, I was either looking for you or on my way to look for you. The rest of the time was spent handling company matters, so naturally I had less attention for our daughter. I snorted coldly. They'll settle this score with you later. Our daughter should be in school right now, right? We'll go pick her up later. I hadn't even finished speaking when a loud noise came from outside the room. With a crash, the door was kicked open by someone. Chen Mo's voice echoed in. Chu Yu, how dare you betray my brother, you heartless woman. I have to see what kind of vixen has bewitched you. I looked in the direction of the voice. The kid who used to follow me around every day, calling me brother, Chen Mo, was now this grown-up. But with pink hair, a row of earrings, and even a lip piercing. She looked like some wannabe gangster girl. What is this smart style? I deliberately leaned against Chu Yu and said nonchalantly, Vixen, what a special title. I smiled faintly, but the smile didn't reach my eyes. Chu Yu knew very well in her heart that her husband was definitely angry. She silently broke out in a cold sweat for Chen Mo. Meanwhile, Chen Mo was studying my face, her gaze slowly shifting from cold to dazed. No, you can't be my brother. My brother has been missing for 13 years. You must have had plastic surgery to look like my brother when he was young. You scheming man, even if you got surgery to look exactly like him, your CPU would never be the same as his. I raised an eyebrow. Then why don't you tell me? What kind of person is your brother? I smirked, silently waiting for Chen Mo's flattery. Chen Mo immediately spoke up. My brother is both fierce and vicious, just like a human-shaped Tyrannosaurus Rex. His nickname is the glutton of the human world. He can devour 10 pigs in one meal. Can you do that? Can you? Ahem. Chu Yu suddenly coughed twice, desperately trying to signal Chen Mo with her eyes. Chen Mo glanced at her with a very serious expression. Are you choking on phlegm? And your eyes are twitching. Chu Yu was completely speechless and silently lit 3 incense sticks for Chen Mo in her heart. As the person in question, I appeared very calm, casually adjusting my sleeves, the smile on my face growing wider. Sounds like your brother is quite the arrogant one. Chen Mo frowned. Is my brother someone that a person like you can casually judge? Although my brother is arrogant and violent, he's not someone you can compare yourself to. Before she finished speaking, I stood up, took a few steps over, and slapped Chen Mo on the back of the head. Chen Mo, haven't seen you in 13 years, and you've become quite something. The glutton of the human world, huh? And a human-shaped Tyrannosaurus Rex? Come here. I'll open your eyes today and let you experience the divine might of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I grabbed Chen Mo's ear and twisted it a good half-turn. Chen Mo grimaced in pain, unable to speak a word, but her eyes were filled with shock as she looked at me. I have to say, this stand-in that Chu Yu found is really too much like her brother. Chu Yu really knows how to enjoy herself. While Chen Mo was lost in thought, I commanded in a deep voice, open your dog eyes for me, take a good look at who I am. You can't even recognize your own brother. It seems you've really forgotten your roots, this tone, this attitude. Chen Mo's eyes immediately turned red. You? Is it really you? Afraid this was just a dream, she threw herself into my arms and burst into tears like a child. Brother, I missed you to death. Do you have any idea how I've lived for the past 13 years? This journey has been full of salt, sweet, sour, and spicy. Ah, no, that's not right. It was bitter and humiliating, only I truly understand. I sighed, gently patted her back. All right, I'm back now, aren't I? Stop crying, a man of great tofu. Ahem. I coughed twice. Sorry, misspoke. A heroine among women. You're still as abstract as ever. Chen Mo burst out laughing like a honking goose, a snot bubble almost forming. I held my forehead. I really couldn't bear to look. Is this kid really a top-tier celebrity? Looking so goofy like this? How does she even have fans? I sat back down on the sofa and looked her up and down. Dye your hair back right now. All those messy piercings on your face, take them all off, otherwise I'll personally send you on your way. The warm scene didn't last long. It had already switched to the youth education channel. Chen Mo shivered slightly, that familiar feeling of oppression washing over her again. Thinking back, her manager could talk until he was blue in the face and couldn't persuade her. But the moment my words came out, Chenmo immediately nodded like a bobblehead. Mission completion guaranteed. I nodded in satisfaction. At least you're self-aware. That smack wasn't in vain. I was just about to praise her a bit more when Chu Yoyu next to me handed over her phone. Hubby, take a look. I took the phone and looked. It was the trending topics interface. One glance and my blood pressure shot up. Top celebrity arrives late on set, suffers from celebrity syndrome, 10 sins in the entertainment industry, Chenmo's sexual orientation a mystery, Chenmo drunk in costume in the middle of the street at night, acts like an orangutan, attracting a crowd of onlookers. I laughed coldly. Chenmo, you're really something else. Chenmo was still confused. Something else how? Are you complimenting me? As she finished speaking, she even confidently flipped her hair. I emotionlessly tossed the phone to her. Yes, you're very good at embarrassing people. See for yourself. Chenmo's smile vanished instantly. Looking at the keywords on the trending list, she felt a tension in her back. This is complete slander. I'm a very good citizen. I raised an eyebrow and said, I can tolerate you dressing up as an orangutan. After all, it's your personal hobby. I won't interfere. Our family's craziness is deeply ingrained in our genes. But you acted like a star on set, arriving late and throwing a tantrum? Is that your work ethic? Who spoiled you with such bad habits? Chenmo stood there, not daring to even let out a fart. I raised my voice. Speak. Chenmo trembled in fear and quickly grabbed her own ear. Brother, I was wrong. I swear it will never happen again. She hung her head low, looking extremely pitiful. After all, we were reuniting after a long separation. I didn't want to be too harsh. Clean up your own mess. I don't want you to become a good-for-nothing who ruins the family's name. Chenmo nodded repeatedly. Yes. I'll go apologize right away. Before she left, she wiped away her cold sweat and conveniently shot Chu Yoyu a meaningful glance. After Chenmo left, I turned to look at Chu Yoyu. Oh right, where is our daughter studying now? When does her school end? I'll go pick her up. Chu Yoyu wrapped her arms around me. Just let the driver pick her up. We finally found each other after so much trouble. Can't you stay with me a little longer? I went on the offensive. You don't want me to see our daughter, do you? Why are you even jealous of our own daughter, or are you afraid that I'll see what you've raised our daughter to become, and then I'll scold you? Chu. Yoyu was immediately at a loss for words. She knew it. Whether in the past or now, she couldn't lie to me. My eyes are truly like fiery golden eyes. She sighed softly. Because you left, our daughter has always resented me. She treats rebellion as a daily routine, just to deliberately anger me. Our mother-daughter relationship isn't like one. It's more like we're enemies. I think I understand now. Because of my disappearance, whether it's Chu Nianfan or my 3 younger sisters, they have all grown distant from Chu Yoyu, and their personalities have become more twisted than the next. It seems that if I want to straighten out these rebellious kids, and that rebellious adult too, it's really going to take some effort. I said coldly, I'm going to pick up our daughter first. You wait for me at home. We definitely need to have a proper talk tonight. Chu Yuyu's fingers twitched slightly, but she finally nodded. Okay, I'll listen to you. Then she ordered the driver, take the sir to pick up Chu Nianfan. On the way there, I was busy sorting out my chaotic thoughts, while the driver occasionally glanced at the rearview mirror, cautiously sneaking peeks at me. This man's methods are quite something. He actually managed to win over Xiao Chu. It seems Xiao Chu has finally let go of her long-lost love. Is the sky over the capital about to change? 20 minutes later, the Maybach slowly pulled up in front of the school gate. It was the peak time for students to be leaving school, and the place was bustling with people coming and going. Amidst a crowd of kids, I quickly scanned for Chu Nianfan. I didn't see her, but from not too far away, I heard an arrogant child's voice. This road was opened by me, this tree was planted by me, if you want to pass through here. Leave the money behind. I looked in the direction of the sound. Yo, isn't this our young Miss Chu? I saw the little girl with her uniform jacket tied around her waist, hands on her hips, looking every bit the big sister, and the unlucky person targeted by the young Miss Chu was cowering in a corner, trembling. Young Miss Chu, I really don't have a single cent on me. My pockets are cleaner than my face, Chu Nianfan snorted disdainfully. I don't believe you. Search him for me. As soon as the words left her mouth, 2 underlings behind her rushed forward and patted down the fatty. Hey. They actually found something. Pulling out approximately 5 yuan from the fatty's shorts pocket, Chu Nianfan pinched her nose, her face full of disgust. Kid, you hide it pretty well, huh? She casually pointed at an underling. You, take this money and give it to Lu Jie. As for you, you dare to play tricks on me? Looks like you'll never learn. You've never been taught a lesson by society, have you? With that, her tiny fist swung straight at the other person's face. Ah, don't! The boy was so scared he plopped onto the ground, crying for his mommy and daddy. Sister Fan, I was wrong. I'll never do it again. Chu Nianfan's fist didn't land, but stopped. Hovering in midair, she looked coldly at the kid who was crying so hard that snot bubbles were forming. Her face was full of contempt. Is that all the courage you have? I'm warning you, if you dare cause trouble again, I'll skin you alive. From now on at school, whenever you see me and Lu Jie, you take a detour. Otherwise, Chu Nianfan suddenly gave a wicked smile. Ha! What the consequences are, I'm sure you know very well. The boy's face turned pale with fear, nodding his head frantically. Then he ran for his life away from this place of trouble. Chu Nianfan watched his retreating back and scoffed disdainfully. So boring, the underling beside her immediately sidled up. Sister Fan, you keep taking money from Erpon to give to Brother Lu. Do you have your eye on him? Are we about to have a big brother? Chu Nianfan shot her a fierce glare. If you keep talking nonsense, I'll tear you to pieces. The girl winked knowingly. Got it, got it. Sister Fan is just being shy. Chu Nianfan really couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with her. She rolled her eyes directly. Her gaze fell on the dazzling Maibach not far away. I'm out of here. See you tomorrow? Leaving those words behind, Chu Nianfan, one hand in her pocket, swaggered towards the Maybach. Even her back exuded arrogance, and I, sitting in the car, watched this brat rob someone, witnessing the entire extortion process from beginning to end. I narrowed my eyes slightly. My expression was complicated. The driver in the front seat secretly sized me up through the rearview mirror, thinking to himself, this is just Xiao Chu's new lover. Seeing the young miss misbehaving, he wouldn't dare say a word. On the contrary, when the young miss sees that there's suddenly a man next to CEO Chu, she'll definitely throw a huge tantrum. There's going to be a good show to watch. As he was imagining things, the cracking sound of knuckles suddenly came from the back. A chill instantly ran down the driver's spine. Such a strong killing intent. Damn. This new lover of CEO Chu isn't planning on teaching the young miss a lesson, is he? He's got some serious guts. Doesn't he know that this young miss of the Chu family, aside from CEO Chu, no one can control her? How long has this rebellious symptom been going on? I suddenly spoke. The driver was startled and instinctively asked back, what symptom? I mean this constant acting out. Does Chu Yuyu not give her allowance, or does she abuse her? So young and already robbing people and getting into relationships? She's exactly like her mother. Seeing the driver hesitate, wanting to speak but stopping, his eyes clearly showed a look of not knowing one's place. Does he think he's a big shot? Chu Nianfan is the only heir of the Chu family, the only child of Xiao Chu and that white moonlight of hers. You'd best not. I'm her father. I cut him off coldly. The driver froze on the spot, completely dumbfounded. That's right. It's only natural for a father to discipline his daughter, but the corner of his mouth kept twitching, thinking that this person hadn't even married into the family yet, and he's already this arrogant. This man is definitely not a simple character. Before he could recover from his shock, he saw Chu Nianfan walking over. He had no time to worry about other things, and hurriedly got out of the car to open the door for the young miss. The moment the car door opened, Chu Nianfan and I locked eyes. The corner of my mouth lifted into a smile. Let me introduce myself. Hello, daughter. I am your father. The driver silently broke into a cold sweat for me. It's over. The young miss will definitely go crazy. The thought had just formed when he saw Chu Nianfan staring at me intently. Her eyes held 3 parts. Shock, 3 parts grievance, and 4 parts disbelief. What a pie chart. I reached out and ruffled Chu Nianfan's messy little head. Fanbao, why aren't you saying anything? Weren't you very arrogant just now? Calling her Fanbao, everyone knows that not even Chu Yuyu dares to call her that. The driver could even predict the next scene. Yet Chu Nianfan still said nothing. She bit her lip tightly. Tears welled up in her eyes, about to spill over, scumbag. The driver thought to himself. It's about to start. The awakening. The time to hunt. He had thought the next scene would be a bloodbath, but to his surprise, Chu Nianfan's short legs scrambled, and she threw herself into my arms, abandoning all dignity, tears and snot running down her face. Wah, Dad, you're finally back. I thought you didn't want me anymore. Wah, wah, I missed you so much. From the driver's perspective, the big sister was crying so hard her bottom was shaking, completely different from her usual arrogant and bossy appearance. He was so shocked his jaw almost hit the floor. Did this man cast a spell on both Xiao Chu and the young Miss Chu? Amidst the driver's confused gaze, I gently patted Chu Nianfan's back. Fanbao, don't cry anymore. Dad is back. Dry your tears, and while you're at it, tell me what you were just doing. My tone was as gentle as water, but Chu Nianfan was so scared she didn't dare to cry anymore. She still remembered what her youngest aunt had said. Dad is the most ferocious human-shaped tyrant in the world. A single roar from him could make the ground shake 3 times. Although she missed her dad, the moment she thought about what she had just done, Chu Nianfan was so scared she started hiccuping. Dad, listen to my excuse. No, I mean, listen to my explanation. I carried Chu Nianfan into the car and sat her firmly in the back seat. No rush. It takes about 10 minutes to get home from school. You have enough time to explain. Pausing for a moment, I took out a tissue and wiped Chu Nianfan's tear-streaked little face. The motion was gentle, the tone was mild. Please begin your performance. Chu Nianfan swallowed hard. Perhaps it was the telepathic connection between father and daughter. She always felt that beneath the mask was a more terrifying face. Facing Chu Yuyu, she might lie, but when facing me, she immediately became honest and slowly recounted the entire course of events. After hearing the whole story, the heavy feeling in my heart was finally lifted. I let out a soft laugh. As expected of my daughter, she hasn't gone astray. Chu Nianfan snorted softly. Her arrogant attribute was on full display. Of course, I can't embarrass you. I reached out and pinched her cheek. Not too hard. Don't get cocky yet. I only praised you for not going astray. I didn't praise you for doing the right thing. That kid named Erpan robbed your friend and bullied him. You found out about it and went to get revenge. That's called fighting fire with fire. If I were you, I would probably tell the homeroom teacher first. If the homeroom teacher doesn't do anything, then go find Chu Yuyu. If Chu Yuyu doesn't do anything either, then you should. Hearing this, a flash of disappointment appeared in Chu Nianfan's eyes. A moment later, I cleared my throat. An uppercut, a rising uppercut, a left hook, a leg sweep, a spinning kick, spider eats fly, tornado sweeps the parking lot, gazelle climbs the mountain, mouse in a maze, black crow rides an airplane, giant axe fells a big tree. Utter madness. Chu Nianfan, wait, it seems there's no time to be sad anymore. Her dad has gone crazy. Chu Nianfan quietly scooted a little towards the car door, afraid that I would suddenly go feral and eat her alive. This is so scary. A greater fear was hidden in Chu Nianfan's big round eyes. My eyebrow twitched. To be honest, you and your mother, before I could finish, Chu Nianfan suddenly became like a cat whose tail was stepped on, her fur standing on end. Don't mention Mom? She snapped her head to one side, puffing out her cheeks angrily. Seeing this, I didn't give Chu Nianfan a chance to act spoiled. I grabbed her chin and forced her head to face forward. Answer me properly. Look me in the eye. During the time I was gone, why are you and Chu Yu at odds with each other? What on earth happened? Chu Nianfan pursed her lips. She looked into my eyes, and suddenly remembered what her eldest uncle once said. If your father were still alive, he definitely wouldn't let you suffer even a little bit of grievance. After all, your father could go on a rampage and kill everyone. Chu Nianfan ignored the last sentence. Her heart stirred. That's right. The father she longed for day and night was back. She no longer had to wait until the dead of night, to huddle under the covers, hugging her dad's photo and wiping her tears, and pour out her grievances. Right now, she could openly and honestly tell him everything she had endured. What, Dad? Chu Nianfan's small mouth turned down and she threw herself into my arms again, sobbing uncontrollably. Mom doesn't like me was 5. I picked a lot of flowers to give to her, but she threw them away with a look of disgust. When I was 6, I wanted to play on the slide. She grabbed my collar and scolded me for being inconsiderate. And when I was 10, I wanted to eat food. She cooked herself. She agreed at first, but she came out of the kitchen not long after going in, and even spanked my bottom. The more Chu Nianfan spoke, the more wronged she felt. In the end, she even looked up to the sky and lamented, Dad, my life is so bitter, Dad. You must get revenge for me. I gently patted Chu Nianfan's back, while frowning in deep thought. Something's not right. It's 12/10 not right. Knowing Chu Yu, she's absolutely not that kind of person. How could she treat a child so cruelly? She doesn't have a violent streak. After thinking for a moment, I decided to comfort the child first. Fan Bao, don't cry anymore. Your eyes are all swollen from crying. When we get home later, Dad will definitely get justice for you. Chu Nianfan stopped crying, her thoughts still lingering on the pain of the past. She let out a sad, Mom, then coughed softly, said quietly, her face red, Dad, you are the best dad in the world. From now on, I don't have to be jealous of other kids who have fathers. With that, Chu Nianfan. Her eyes red-rimmed, lifted her chin, a look of immense pride on her face. My heart felt like it was melting. Oh my, how can this little thing be so adorable? At this moment, Chu Nianfan suddenly blew a big snot bubble. I turned my head away, and just like that, my heart turned to stone again. The drive from the school to Thu Vien only took a little over 10 minutes. The driver was hit by one shock after another. He suddenly felt like the capital was about to undergo a massive change. But mostly, it was frustratingly confusing, easily capturing Chu Yoyu's heart and controlling Chu Nianfan. What kind of magic did this man possess? After the Maybach slowly rolled into Thu Vien, I looked at the familiar scenery outside the window. My thoughts drifted far away. Thu Vien was a name I came up with. I also drew the design plans myself. Every plant and blade of grass inside was my creation. However, I never got to see Thu Vien completed before I disappeared in a car accident. Looking at it now, 1,000 emotions welled up inside me. This tree is so big. This rockery is also big. The pond is even wider. Ha 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 ha. In the future, I'll run a marathon right here in Thu Vien. One word. Awesome. I can finally experience the life of the rich. Seeing me so excited, I almost turned into a monkey. Chu Nianfan rubbed her forehead. She didn't want to admit it. Her dad seemed a little crazy. Just a little. Not long after, the car stopped in front of the main building. I led Chu Nianfan to stand before the door. I'm home, Chu Nianfan. What on earth is her fiery dad doing? Seeing Chu Nianfan's confusion, I chuckled. Isn't this more fiery than Boruto? Go, 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 let's go! Chu Nianfan didn't understand, but she respected it nonetheless, and toddled after me on her short legs. Butler Lin had received prior notice, and was already waiting at the door. The moment he saw me approach, he bowed and said, You are the second man Xiao Chu has brought home. I vaguely recalled the first time I came to Thu Vien. Butler Lin used this same speech. So many years have passed, couldn't he change the welcome speech a little? I waved my hand helplessly. All right, Butler Lin, we're all familiar here. Don't be so formal with me. When is Chu Yu coming back? I need to see her about something. Hearing the familiar voice and tone, the butler's entire body stiffened. The moment he straightened up and met my eyes, You? Why are you? Butler Lin was too shocked to speak. That man has returned. Why are you stuttering now? I'm asking you, when is Chu Yu coming back? Butler Lin. Xiao Chu just sent a message saying she will be back. Immediately, got it. Having received the desired answer, I led Chu Nianfan through the door, leaving Butler Lin alone and confused in the wind. The usually unruly and rebellious young miss was now obediently following this man's side, and Chu Yu had even directly allowed him to come to Thu Vien. All signs pointed to the fact that this man was Tran Fan, who had been missing for 13 years. That's right. Butler Lin behind me hadn't even taken a few steps, when I suddenly stopped. Tell Chu Yu. I have something to ask her later. I need to get to the bottom of why Chu Yu treated Chu Nianfan like that. As soon as Chu Yu got home, she saw Butler Lin running over with a mysterious expression, whispering, "Xiao Chu, I've seen a ghost." After a moment of silence, Chu Yu replied flatly, "Butler Lin, I think you look more like a ghost right now. Don't tease me anymore, Mom." Butler Lin sighed softly. "I just feel that the master's sudden appearance, with his appearance unchanged, is 12/10 not normal. You should still be on your guard. There is no what if." Chu Yu interrupted Butler Lin. Her gaze fell on the living room not far away. I was sprawled on the sofa like a big boss. Chu Nianfan was diligently peeling lychees for me. It could be called a scene of a loving father and a filial daughter. The corner of Chu Yu's lips curved into a faint smile. There's no mistaking it. She strode forward. The phone in her pocket suddenly rang. Seeing that the caller was Teacher Du, Chu Yu's steps faltered. After pressing the answer button, an indignant male voice came from the phone. "Ms. Chu, Nianfan is really too much. It was one thing when she skipped class and rebelled before. Now she's even bullying her classmates. Someone saw her extorting money at the school gate. It's terrible. I know the Chu family is powerful, but you can't indulge your child like this. Please come to the school tomorrow." Although Chu Yu didn't have it on speaker, this male voice was indeed too loud. Both Chu Nianfan and I heard it clearly. Chu Yu frowned and looked at Chu Nianfan, and unconsciously asked, "Chu Nianfan, what mistake have you made again? Couldn't you just let your mother worry less?" Chu Nianfan's lychee peeling motion stopped. The smile on her face vanished in an instant. "I didn't." Chu Nianfan was like a powder keg, ready to explode at any moment. She shouted loudly, "Besides, even if I did bully a classmate, you have no right to control me." Before her words had finished, I acted with lightning speed, reaching out and clamping Chu Nianfan's mouth shut. Chu Nianfan was forced to shut her mouth. Her eyes were filled with confusion and incomprehension towards me. "I know you're in a hurry, but take your time." I looked towards Chu Yu. "Hang up the phone first." "Okay." Chu Yu immediately hung up the phone. Seeing that, I let go. Chu Nianfan glared at Chu Yu with reddened eyes. Her expression was full of defiance. I suddenly felt a headache coming on. These two stubborn people. One is the wife I chose myself. The other is my own daughter. Don't get angry, don't get angry. If I get sick from anger, no one can take my place. I took a deep breath. I crossed my arms over my chest. First, I looked at Chu Yu. "To be honest, do you think Fan Bao would bully a classmate and has a bad character?" I knew Chu Yu just didn't know how to express herself. Maybe she also trusted Chu Nianfan. But between mother and daughter, one is too hot-tempered, and the other is too slow to react. No wonder there's constant conflict. In the end, nobody is happy. Seeing the hands hanging by her side of Chu Nianfan were clenched into fists, the girl turned her face away. She was clearly sulking. "Humph. Dad, I don't want to know what Mom thinks." Before the girl could finish her sentence, Chu Yu spoke up. "I trust you." Chu Nianfan whipped her head around with a look of disbelief. Her eyes looking at Chu Yu were filled with astonishment. "How could this be? It's a lie, right? Did someone possess you, Mom?" The girl's mouth fell open. But in the end, she couldn't say a word. At my signal, Chu Yu continued to speak, voicing the truest thoughts from the bottom of her heart. Although Chu Nianfan is rebellious, disobedient, and flies off the handle at the slightest thing, her nature isn't bad. She wouldn't bully a classmate for no reason. Chu Nianfan was silent, but tears had unconsciously filled the corners of her eyes. She still tried to hold them back from falling, both stubborn and adorable. After a long while, she whispered a sentence. "I guess you have good judgment after all." I lightly tapped the back of her neck. "Is that any way to talk to your mother? See, your mother has always been on your side. When something happens, you have to let your mother finish speaking. Got it?" Chu Nianfan held the back of her neck. She nodded. "I know." Pausing for a moment, the girl sniffled. She added another sentence. "But for all these years, you've always bullied me. You don't love me at all. I plan to discuss the school bullying incident later. The urgent matter now is to resolve the conflict between mother and daughter." I was also curious, so I took what Chu Nianfan said in the car and asked the woman again, "Is this how you've treated my daughter all these years? Give me a clear explanation." Chu Yu recalled past events. Her temples throbbed with pain. Seeing she didn't speak, Chu Nianfan huffed lightly. "She's being stubborn again. You don't like me. No need to explain. Explaining is just covering up. It's okay. Dad's here. I don't need you anymore." I paid no mind to the girl. My gaze was still fixed on Chu Yu. "Explain." The words were for her, but Chu Yu's gaze was always on Chu Nianfan. When Chu Nianfan was 5 years old, she did pick a bouquet of flowers for me. But she picked a bouquet of heather. The smell was so bad I couldn't breathe. I hid it from her and threw it away. I didn't expect her to see me. When she was 6, she was on the slide. She insisted on sliding down head first. If I hadn't caught her in time, she would have hit her head on the ground. When she was 10, I wanted to ease the tension in our relationship, so I promised to cook for her, but she poured water into the pan of hot oil. It exploded with a bang. Not beating her half to death was already the most benevolent I could be. The corner of my mouth twitched as if I had localized Parkinson's. Case closed. This is clearly a little devil incarnate. I swallowed hard. Fan Bao. Yes? This is really hard to judge. Don't just remember being punished. You completely forgot the reason, didn't you? Sometimes, don't just keep thinking about the hurt your family has caused you. You should also think about how you've hurt the family. Chu Nianfan's face turned red at a visible rate. Was I really such a brat before? I don't remember any of it. While she was lost in thought, a shadow fell over her. Chu Yu Yu voice came from above her head. I don't hate you. I just don't know how to show it. It's my fault for not taking good care of you. They'll make it up to you from now on. Chu Nianfan's heart was shaken. She couldn't hold it in any longer. Tears streamed down her face. The resentment she had suppressed for so many years was finally released in that moment. I gently patted and rubbed her back. Using my disastrously high-pitched voice, I sang a line. Oh girl, please don't cry. Let me bear any sorrow. Chu Nianfan crying stopped abruptly. After a moment of hesitation, she decided to speak her truest, innermost thoughts. Dad, I'm begging you. Please don't sing anymore. It could be deadly. I immediately looked displeased. My good intentions are wasted on you. I pouted. I understood that mending the mother-daughter relationship is a long process. Haste makes waste. So I reached out and pulled out a tissue, handing it to Chu Nianfan. The misunderstanding between you two has been cleared up. As for Fan Bao bullying a classmate, just let me investigate the truth. The one bullied by Fan Bao is named Wang Air Pang. He has a record of bullying classmates and uses his size to extort money from his peers. Fan Bao acted to seek justice and also to vent her friend's anger. That's why she took action. Her intentions were good. She just chose the wrong way to solve it. After my explanation, Chu Yoyu nodded. She didn't seem very surprised. Now, do you know what to do next time something like this happens? Chu Nianfan snorted. Report it to the teacher first. If the teacher doesn't solve it, tell Mom. I nodded in satisfaction. A child who can be taught. Mom will throw a left hook, then a right hook, add a sweep kick. I quickly covered her mouth with my hand. You can just delete that last part. After considering, I turned to Chu Yoyu and said, Chu Yoyu, your work is busy. I'll go to school with Fan Bao tomorrow to meet that little punk Wanger Pang. With me handling it, Chu Yoyu, you don't need to worry. After settling this matter, I let out a big yawn and sprawled out on the sofa. I'm done for. I just got back and I already have to deal with so many things. I'm dead tired. Is dinner ready yet? Hearing this, Chu Nianfan looked astonished. Her hands had been peeling fruit for her dad nonstop just now. He ate a whole huge plate of it, and he can still stuff more food into his stomach? But Chu Yoyu seemed to be very used to this. Seeing the newcomer Chu Nianfan's surprise, she made a comment. I've already asked Aunt Liu to prepare some of your favorite dishes. We can eat any time. My eyes immediately lit up. This woman is still as thoughtful and considerate as ever. On the dining table, more than 10 delicious dishes were piled high and spread out before me. The stimulating aroma wafted into my nostrils, making my mouth water a river 3,000 feet long. Chu Yoyu chuckled. She picked up a piece of beef for me. Have a taste. Then I won't be polite. She was just being polite, but I really wasn't holding back. I devoured the beef Chu Yoyu gave me like an autumn wind sweeping fallen leaves, then continued to dive in and gobble up the other dishes on the table. Wherever I swept through, not a blade of grass was left. Chu Nianfan silently hugged her knees and shivered. She was afraid that her father, in his excitement, might even swallow her whole. It was just too terrifying. Butler Lin stood in the dining room witnessing this scene. The heavy rock in his heart finally dropped. The good news is, I haven't seen a ghost. The bad news is, the master is more terrifying than a ghost. After eating my fill, I wiped my mouth clean. I sighed with emotion. Life really has gotten better. Chu Yoyu, if all 3 meals are this lavish from now on, I won't eat you into bankruptcy, will I? Chu Yoyu smiled lightly. You won't. You'll work hard to earn money. With such great awareness, you'll succeed in whatever you do. I replied, then held out my hand towards Chu Yoyu. Give me the phone. Chu Yoyu took out her phone and placed it in my hand. As I unlocked the phone, I teased with a smile. So straightforward? Aren't you afraid I'll see something I shouldn't? Chu Yoyu raised an eyebrow. Not afraid. After all, for all these years, I've remained faithful to you. I didn't reply, just seriously fiddled with the phone. I had to see how the outside world had developed. Chu Yoyu phone wallpaper was a photo of me. Under the bright sun on the beach, I looked back, my gaze meeting the camera lens perfectly. The years were quiet and beautiful. My hand movements paused slightly. If I remember correctly, this scene was from when Chu Yoyu and I were traveling. I got my hand pinched by a crab and was about to get revenge, and I swore that everything I lost, I would take it all back myself. My expression back then must have been quite fierce. Chu Yoyu is truly a master at capturing moments. No matter how goofy and abstract I am in real life, through Chu Yoyu lens, I'm always a combination of handsome and dashing. Pulling my thoughts back, with Chu Yoyu explanation, I learned about some popular social media apps. I also learned that in the years I was gone, Xia country had developed at lightning speed and was extremely prosperous. Finally, I opened Weibo. As soon as I tapped on it, several trending keywords about Chen Mo immediately appeared. Chen Mo apologizes. Chen Mo's body was snatched and possessed. Shocking supernatural phenomenon in the entertainment industry. How is each one more ridiculous than the last? I clicked on the first trending keyword. At a glance, I saw the apology letter posted by Chen Mo. In the handwritten letter, Chen Mo said she shouldn't have acted like a diva, shouldn't have lost her temper on set. Quite a deep self-criticism, huh? The comments section below was even more spectacular. There were both praises and criticisms. Who does the pea-filled water gun shoot? Who's calling me, sis? If you've been kidnapped, blink as a signal. We'll risk our lives to protect ourselves. Chen Mo replied, whoever the pea-filled water gun shoots is the one who called. What's the point of acting anymore? Interesting. This apology letter was definitely written by the company and then posted by Chen Mo. It's just a marketing stunt to build her image. And you guys actually believe it. I'd rather believe him, Jesus Christ. Chen Mo replied, interesting, but your most important task right now is to finish your 9 years of compulsory education, kid. Cold left armpit, haha. Waiting for Chen Mo to eat her own words. Chen Mo replied, cold left armpit, I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you. I am now Neo Huru Mo. Chen Mo could be said to be extremely active, replying to quite a few comments. Some anti-fans deliberately attacked Chen Mo, but before the fans could join in, Chen Mo had already charged into battle herself. One person against 1,000 troops. At the same time, she declared, everyone, stand behind me. I'm about to show off. Being a fan of Chen Mo is so easy, their idol can single-handedly fight 800 rounds with the anti-fans. After reading, I felt extremely satisfied. I have to admit, I acknowledge Chen Mo's fighting power. It seems my youngest sister is not a lost cause after all. CQ Entertainment. I know. Standing before the floor-to-ceiling window, Chen Jiang had one hand in her pocket. After hearing Chen Mo's manager report on the situation, she hung up the phone. If I were here, I would definitely be surprised by Chen Jiang's huge change. The sharpness in her eyes had quietly retracted, replaced by a captivating, silent maturity. After hanging up, Chen Jiang sent Chen Mo a text message. Was your body snatched? The other person seemed to reply instantly. Oh, my dear sister, I suddenly want to repent and mend my ways to start a new life. Is that not allowed? Chen Jiang, tell the truth. Chen Mo, I am telling the truth. Believe it if you want, don't if you don't. Her sister was not okay. Chen Jiang came to a conclusion and didn't reply to the message anymore. She turned and sat down in the big boss's chair, her fingertips tapping a rhythmic beat on the desk. Yesterday, Chen Mo had just called her, saying someone was impersonating their brother and trying to seduce Chu Youyu. She had to go expose the cheating woman. At that time, Chen Jiang didn't bother to pay it any mind. She just found it strange that someone would impersonate Chen Fan. But as long as it didn't bother her directly, she couldn't be bothered to deal with it. But after Chen Mo returned from the party, something was very wrong with her. It seemed the problem stemmed from that imposter brother. Could it be that Chen Mo was fooled? Chen Jiang gently rubbed her temples. She called her assistant in. Go investigate immediately. What happened at the charity party hosted by the Chu family? I walked out of the dressing room. As soon as I looked up, I saw Chu Youyu sitting by the bed, looking at the photo of us on the nightstand. The real person is right in front of you. Why do you still like looking at the photo? I walked over with a smile and naturally hugged Chu Youyu, making Chu Youyu sit on my lap. Chu Youyu sobbed in my arms. I just feel like this isn't real. I'm afraid this is all a dream. For countless days and nights without you, I could only rely on the photos and mementos you left behind to keep myself from collapsing. Seeing the endless sorrow in her eyes, I lifted Chu Youyu's face, placed a fleeting, gentle kiss on her. Is that real enough? Chu Youyu wrapped her arms around my neck. Still not enough. I suddenly remembered something. I slapped my thigh. I almost forgot about Chu Nianfan. I'm going to check on our daughter. A vein on Chu Youyu's forehead throbbed. The daughter is Plan B. She is the #1 choice. The withered rose. The fishy smell on your hands that won't wash off. It's unbearable. No need to bear it anymore. Chu Youyu grabbed my wrist and pulled me onto the bed while I was still unsteady on my feet. The next day, I opened my eyes. I just felt sore all over, staring at the ceiling with a look of utter despair. While I was lost in thought, I've sent Gui Feng to go with you. If you're wronged, remember to tell me. It's different from before. With your wife backing you up, you can walk sideways in this capital city. Chu Youyu immediately changed her tone. All right. You're a man. You can achieve great things with your own abilities, but I hope you can rely on me a little more. Oh, right. Gui Feng is the driver who drove you back yesterday. He's a decent worker. It's just that he's a little slow-witted. Got it. I indicated that I understood. Chu Youyu left. I also followed her downstairs. Butler Lin saw this and couldn't help but sigh with emotion again. The person is still here, so the kingdom remains. Chu Nianfan was also up and had finished getting ready. She was wearing her school uniform, with her backpack slung over one shoulder, waiting for me on the first floor. Dad, have breakfast, Dad. Standing in front of me, Chu Nianfan was incredibly well-behaved. Okay, I casually grabbed a sandwich and a carton of milk. Let's go, time to head into battle. Chu Nianfan could never keep up with her father's brain. She sighed, then quietly followed him. Oh, by the way, if Teacher Du says anything bad about me, just let it go in one ear and out the other. He probably doesn't like me, so he's always looking for excuses to pick on me. With or without reason, hell, call my mom. I even suspect he thinks his phone bill is too high. Chu Nianfan was like a mini Tang Sanzeng, trailing behind my butt, nagging non-stop. I frowned in thought. There's something not right about this Teacher Du. 1, he genuinely wants what's best for her. 2, he has other motives. Looking at Chu Nianfan's clear but foolish eyes, I sighed helplessly. Your father has his own way of judging things. While talking, the two of us got in the car. Driver Gui Feng sat in the front. After one shock after another, he was completely numb. This man's methods were brilliant. Not only did he win over Chu Nianfan in a single day, but even CEO Chu personally ran after him. Only he, the intelligent driver, remained true to his heart. always engraving the image of the master who had been missing for years. Guifeng felt like everyone in the world was drunk and he alone was sober. Through the rearview mirror, I saw all sorts of expressions on Guifeng's face. My mouth twitched slightly. I wonder what this kid is thinking. I get the feeling his inner world is incredibly rich and colorful. 15 minutes later. The car stopped in front of the school gate. The school Chu Nianfan attended was an elite school. The lineup of supercars at the gate was dazzling. I gulped with difficulty and muttered softly, "This is truly a gathering of the elite." I never had the chance to see such a magnificent sight before. I couldn't help but exclaim again, life has really taken a turn for the better. While I was lost in thought, Sister Fan, Xiao Yun, Chu Nianfan, trusted subordinate, ran over. Seeing next to Chu Nianfan, a young stranger, the boy paused. Xiao Yun hesitated for a moment, then asked, "Sister Fan, could this be your older brother?" Before Chu Nianfan could even open her mouth, I, standing beside her, was already overjoyed. That's right, I'm her older brother." Xiao Yun's eyes lit up. "Awesome, you're really handsome, huh? That's not right. I remember Sister Fan as an only child, could it be?" Seeing that Xiao Yun was about to discover the truth, I was just about to say, "You saw right through me, kid. Actually, I'm her dad." When the next second, Xiao Yun said, "Could you be her distant cousin?" I almost threw my back out. Chu Nianfan put a hand on her forehead and had no choice but to tell the truth. "He's my dad." Xiao Yun stared blankly at Chu Nianfan, then looked back at me. A moment later, a shrill male voice rang out. "This is her dad?" The crowd entering the school gate all turned to look in this direction. Whispers immediately broke out. "My goodness, is this Chu Nianfan's stepfather? He's so young. Having a stepfather is just like having a stepmother. Chu Nianfan's mother doesn't care about her anyway. Tisk. Unloved by her mother and not doted on by her father. And she still calls herself the great miss of the Chu family. Let's see what gives her the right to be so arrogant in the future." Hearing those taunts, my blood immediately boiled. Just as I rolled up my sleeves to give them a scolding, Chu Nianfan was one step ahead, speaking coldly. "Whoever dares to say one more word, don't even think about going home after school." As soon as the words were spoken, the crowd that had been running their mouths just moments ago now all lowered their heads and scurried into the school. I raised an eyebrow. Not bad. The great Miss Chu is so majestic. Seeing that everyone had dispersed, Chu Nianfan scratched her head and whispered softly, "Don't bother with idiots. You taught me that, Dad." I patted her head. Very smart. During the conversation, Xiao Yun gave a forced laugh. He knew he had shouted too loudly just now, so he laughed awkwardly to change the subject. "Sister Fan, you and this handsome guy get along so well. Anyone who didn't know would think you two were a real father and daughter." I gave Xiao Yun a thumbs up, a spot-on prophecy. "Shut up," Chu Nianfan shot Xiao Yun a glare. "I'll deal with you later." Xiao Yun's hopeful heart instantly turned cold. "Don't, Sister Fan, I really didn't mean it just now." Chu Nianfan couldn't be bothered with him, shifting her gaze to me and asked hesitantly, Dad, do you remember what I said when we left the house?" I deliberately teased her. What did you say?" Chu Nianfan was stunned. Seeing the light in her eyes gradually fade, I stopped teasing her. "Of course I remember. If Teacher Du says bad things about you, I'll let it go in one ear and out the other. Even if you didn't tell me, I would still choose to trust you. After all, you're my daughter. If I don't believe in you, who would I believe? A child deprived of affection always likes to constantly test others. Fortunately, I have enough patience, and I'm also full of confidence, believing that I can make up for the love that was missing." I gently patted the back of Chu Nianfan's neck. "I know what I said was very touching, but you're forbidden from secretly crying." Chu Nianfan's face immediately flushed red. "I'm not crying." She let out a soft, humph. Xiao Yun watched the way the two of them interacted and sighed inwardly. This guy can actually handle Sister Fan. How scary being a stepfather like this. In a word, amazing. Not long after, Chu Nianfan and I went to Teacher Du's office together. As soon as we entered, we heard a woman wailing. "Just because the Chu family is powerful, does my child have to be wronged and bullied by her? Teacher Du, if you don't get justice for my son, then I'm not leaving today. Look at the state my son was beaten into. He's bruised black and blue all over. This is clearly school violence. To put it seriously, we could totally call the police to intervene." Chen Fan raised an eyebrow slightly. "Oh my, she's bragging without shame. Yesterday, I witnessed with my own eyes the so-called scene of Chu Nianfan being violent towards a classmate. She basically didn't even lift a finger, just intimidated that chubby kid a little. Where did this chubby kid get bruises all over his body? Did he sleepwalk and bump into walls at night?" Not far away, Du Zideng's voice was tinged with annoyance. "I understand your current feelings very well, but everything has to wait until Miss Chu arrives to be resolved." Chen Fan followed the voice and looked over. He saw that Du Zideng was in his 20s wearing a gray suit and looking quite dapper and well-groomed. I always felt that Du Zideng and I would never be on the same page. Standing beside me, Chu Nianfan really couldn't take it anymore and shouted through gritted teeth, "I didn't hit anyone. Don't you dare slander me." As soon as the words were spoken, the whispering in the office suddenly fell silent. Du Zideng shot up from his chair, his eyes lit up, and a faint smile appeared on his lips. "Miss Chu, you've come." But the moment he saw me, the smile on his face immediately vanished. "What is this? Doesn't Chu Yu never get close to men? Could this guy be an assistant? Or a house servant? But what servant is this young and handsome?" Noticing Du Zideng's disappointment, I was sure this Teacher Du had no good intentions. I led Chu Nianfan forward, my gaze sweeping over the other two. There were still tear stains on Wang Erpan's face, and on his exposed forearm, just as his mother had said, were scattered bruises. But this was definitely not Chu Nianfan doing. As for Wang Erpan's mother, Bai Rong, her face was furious, and she was constantly cursing. You already know how to lie at such a young age. How did your family raise you? My son came home full of injuries, and someone even saw you hitting people at the school gate. The evidence is crystal clear. Don't try to make excuses anymore. Today, the Chu family must give us a proper explanation. Seeing Bai Rong being so aggressive and unreasonable, Chu Nianfan started to get fired up as if she was about to explode. She had already prepared some sharp, knife-like words, but I immediately blocked her, signaling her to calm down and not be hasty. Immediately after, the little leopard who was bristling a second ago now miraculously calmed down. Du Zidang also came to his senses, glanced at me again, then crossed his arms, lifted his chin slightly, and said coldly, "You've seen it too. The Chu family should indeed give them an explanation. Even if it's just to set an example for the children, one should not use power to bully others. If Miss Chu were here, she would certainly make a fair and reasonable judgment." I nodded. "We should indeed give you an explanation. If Chu Nianfan really did use her power to bully someone, and was violent towards a classmate, then how do you want to resolve this? Make your demand." As soon as I finished speaking, both Du Zidang and Bai Rong were stunned. Huh? That easy? They had originally thought they would have to argue for a while longer. Bai Rong had to think of all the sad things in her life, to suppress a smirk and say, "We're not unreasonable people. How about this? Have CEO Chu arrange a banquet, and then have Chu Nianfan personally apologize to my son at the table, and we'll call it even." I raised an eyebrow. Is it that simple? Bai Rong cursed inwardly. Is there something wrong with this guy's head? She cleared her throat softly. It's just that simple. Turns out your whole family are starving ghosts, gluttons. No wonder everyone is so plump, with greasy faces. Bai Rong pointed directly at my nose and questioned, "What do you mean by that?" I feigned innocence. "I'm just telling the truth. What are you so agitated about? Your son gets beaten up and all you can think about is food. If that's not a reincarnated starving ghost, then what is it? What's with this guy? Is he really stupid or is he being sarcastic? Of course I don't care about a few bites of food. That's why I'm asking Xiao Chu for a meal. My purpose is to..." By the time Bai Rong realized something was wrong, it was too late. Chen Fan pressed on. "To do what? Why don't you continue? Are you naturally not a talker?" Seeing Bai Rong speechless, Du Zidang cleared his throat and said in a stern voice, "You clearly promised to give the Wang family an explanation, so why are you being so aggressive and threatening now? Are you going to go back on your word in front of the children?" I spread my hands in a gesture of innocence. As heaven is my witness, I'm not going back on my word. It's true that I promised to give the Wang family an explanation. I still understand the principle of keeping my word. Du Zidang became even more confused. He was already annoyed enough that he couldn't meet Chu Yoyu, and now I was acting all mysterious here. He grew more and more impatient. Without waiting for him to speak, I paused for a beat. "But, Teacher Du, did Chu Nianfan really bully a classmate? Have you investigated thoroughly? It's fine if you want Chu Nianfan to apologize, but the prerequisite is that what you said is not a lie." My words were firm and resonated clearly. If we weren't in an inappropriate place, Chu Nianfan would have wanted to applaud her father. "Her dad is so cool." After a long time, Du Zidang finally reacted, pointing towards Wang Erpan. "The wounds on the boy's body are clearly visible. Isn't that enough to prove that Chu Nianfan bullied a classmate?" I retorted, "What if he fell on his own?" Bai Rong said anxiously, "No way, my son couldn't be that stupid." I gave Wang Erpan a meaningful look. Not necessarily. Wang Erpan felt deeply insulted, but he couldn't say anything back, letting that verbal knife choke him. Bai gritted her teeth and spat out each word. "You've gone too far. I just found this ridiculous. Where have I gone too far? I was just telling the truth. Besides, you said someone saw Chu Nianfan bullying your son? Where's the witness? While we're at it, let's pull the security camera footage from the school gate. After we watch the footage, the truth will naturally come to light. If Chu Nianfan really did hit him, we are willing to admit our mistake and apologize until you are satisfied. Absolutely no beating around the bush." I paused for a moment, then suddenly changed direction. "However, if Chu Nianfan didn't bully her classmate, then the consequences of slandering the young lady of the Chu family, can you bear them?" A flash of panic crossed Bai Rong's face. I took a step forward. "What are you hemming and hawing about? You were so aggressive just now. Why are you so quiet now?" Seeing that Bai Rong had lost all ability to resist, Du Zidang took a deep breath and said in a stern voice, "That's enough. It's not a big deal. Is it necessary to watch the security footage? Not a big deal?" I almost burst out laughing. "So I guess school violence isn't a big deal either. A moment ago, you were all shouting about how serious this was. Shooting yourself in the foot. What a strange thing." Standing behind me, Chu Nianfan couldn't help but let out a laugh. "Pfft, how interesting." Du Zidang's face turned red. Never before has a parent dared to speak to him like this. In the past, even when Chu Yoyu came in person, she had to show him some respect. Du Zidang glared at me coldly. "What kind of attitude is that? With someone like you around Chu Nianfan, no wonder she's picked up bad habits. If CO Chu knew about this, she would definitely kick you out immediately. Pulling the security footage is impossible. I advise you to apologize quickly. Once you apologize, the matter will be considered closed. Why? Must you make a big fuss and affect the children's studies? Hearing the clear threat in every word from Du Zideng, I remained unconcerned. Kick me out? Du Zideng? This guy really thinks I'm the Chu family's nanny. Interesting. The elders were right. You should never argue with an idiot. After sighing, I casually pulled up a chair and sat down leisurely. Chu Nianfan stood right behind me, completely silent, not saying a word, and very well behaved. Du Zideng and Bai Rong looked at each other. Neither of them could see through the meaning behind my actions. As if sensing the confusion in their eyes, I smirked faintly. Just wait. Let the bullet fly a little longer. Du Zideng's face darkened, and he slammed his hand on the table. If you keep up that attitude, then there's nothing left to say. You can just take Chu Nianfan home and re-educate her when you've thought it through. Have Miss Chu herself bring her to school? Chu Yu again. I rubbed my temples. Since I stepped in here, you keep mentioning Chu Yu every time you open your mouth. Why is that? Do you have a crush on her? Constantly targeting Chu Nianfan? Could it be that you're deliberately trying to get Chu Yu attention? These words could be considered hitting the nail on the head. A flash of panic crossed Du Zideng's eyes. His hand hanging by his side clenched into a fist. What kind of nonsense are you talking about? I just mentioned it casually. Why are you so flustered? Before he could make an excuse, the office door was pushed open once again. Gui Feng appeared before everyone with the head of the grade level. Right on time. I looked towards the head of the grade level and raised an eyebrow. Have you brought the camera footage? The head of the grade level, who was usually very strict, but on the way here, Gui Feng had already whispered in his ear, telling him that this man's identity was anything but ordinary. In the future, he might even be the Chu family's live-in son-in-law. Even Chu Nianfan greatly respects him. He replied in a serious tone, "It has been brought." I nodded. Good. That saves us the trouble of wasting our breath here. After watching the footage, the whole truth will be revealed. Seeing that the head of the grade level really brought the security footage, Du Zideng became even more restless. Head of the grade, this is just kids messing around with each other. Is it necessary to watch the footage? Why wouldn't it be necessary? The head of the grade level shot Du Zideng a look. Teacher Du, why are you so tense? Are you feeling unwell? Du Zideng gave a forced laugh. No, not at all. The head of the grade level ignored him and opened the laptop right in front of everyone, playing the video that had been copied beforehand. In the extracted video, Chu Nianfan had indeed blocked Wang Erpan at the school gate and had indeed loudly demanded money from the kid. But whether she had actually hit him or not, the camera recorded it clearly. After watching the whole clip, my eyes locked onto Wang Erpan. This student, can you explain to me a little about where the wounds on your body came from? Could it be that Chu Nianfan knows how to strike from a distance? It looks like she didn't touch you, but in reality, she injured your internal organs? Wang Erpan avoided eye contact, sweat beading on his forehead. The boy lowered his head and mumbled, "The wounds on my body are from when I accidentally tripped." Chen Fan continued to interrogate. Then why did you make up a lie? Wang Erpan hung his head low, the fat on his cheeks twitching. After a moment of consideration, the boy grabbed Bai Rong's arm. Mom, what do we do now? Bai Rong was also in a panic now. Her eyes darted around, but she still stubbornly insisted. Even if Chu Nianfan didn't hit him, she clearly extorted money from my son. With such a corrupt character, she still has to apologize properly to my son. Du Zideng also seized this opportunity to cling to this excuse and chimed in. Me? The camera footage is crystal clear. This time the evidence is as solid as a mountain, isn't it? He snorted coldly, certain that I had just dug my own grave. I turned my gaze towards Chu Nianfan. Tell them the whole truth. Dad's got your back. There's nothing to be afraid of. Chu Nianfan, who had been holding in her grievances until now, immediately strode forward upon hearing this, staring at Wang Erpan's guilty face. Are you going to confess yourself? Or should I say it? Wang Erpan was on the verge of tears. So pathetic. Chu Nianfan let out a jeer and continued, Wang Erpan, you were so majestic when you bullied Lu Jia, and now you've become such a coward. I really look down on you. Everyone's eyes fell on Wang Erpan, causing him to unconsciously take a timid step back. I didn't mean to. You'll never do it again. Absolutely no next time. Oh my, confessing without being interrogated? I chuckled softly and turned to the head of the grade level. The truth is this clear now, how it should be resolved. I'm sure the head of the grade level already has a plan in mind. The head of the grade level had now unraveled the entire knot of the matter. Originally, this was just a petty squabble between children, but now it's become a huge mess. He must give the Chu family a satisfactory explanation. He looked towards Wang Erpan and said in a low voice, not only did you bully your classmates, steal their money, but you also lied. Our school has no student like you. Go home and reflect on your actions, then wait for the school's decision. Wang Erpan's legs were trembling. It's over. There's no way he's escaping a severe beating when he gets home. And it'll be a joint beating from both his mom and dad. Is it too late to just faint right now? Beside Wang Erpan, Bai Rong's face was also dark, reeling from one shock after another. She had originally thought she could use this opportunity to curry favor with the Chu family. Who knew it would all come to nothing? The truth was right there in front of her, and her son had confessed without even being pressured. She was truly out of options. Bai Rong decisively raised her hand, slapped Wang Erpan across the face. After the resounding smack, Wang Erpan clutched his cheek, his narrow eyes widening in shock. Mom, why did you hit me? You did something like this, and I'm not allowed to hit you. Bairong glared at him fiercely. When she looked at me, she forced a smile. It's all a misunderstanding. I really didn't know this kid would dare to lie to me. Wang Erpan looked at her with a naive expression and said, I didn't lie to you. Shut your mouth. Bairong almost coughed up blood from anger. She felt that with a son like this, she would lose at least 20 years of her life. Of course, she knew the truth. Even the injuries on Wang Erpan's body were fabricated by her. Her goal was to suck up to and latch on to the Chu family. Now that the truth was out, what she needed to do was make the Chu family understand that this was just a petty squabble between children, not to elevate it to a family feud. Otherwise, if Chu Yuyu casually uttered a phrase like the weather's getting cold, let the Wang family go bankrupt, she wouldn't even have a place to cry. Seeing that Wang Erpan didn't dare say another word, Bairong spoke up again. He'll definitely teach him a lesson when we get home. Sir, you see, she even used a formal address. I found it ridiculous. You must be an inheritor of intangible cultural heritage, right? Bairong paused for a beat. What? Your face-changing speed is quite fast. I can tell you're a professional. Unfortunately, she had no ground to stand on. She was angry, but didn't dare to make a peep. After holding it in for a long time, she finally squeezed out a sentence. You flatter me. Don't misunderstand. I wasn't complimenting you. Hurry up and take your precious son home to reflect on his actions. Don't appear before me and be an eyesore again. Bairong's face turned ashen, but she could only bow and scrape, saying, Yes, 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 well, leave right away, leave right away. As she spoke, she grabbed Wang Erpan's arm and dragged her son straight out, looking utterly disheveled and miserable. Oh, right, I suddenly spoke up. The mother and son steps faltered. Remember to apologize to student Lu before you leave the school. He's the real victim. Understood? After Bairong and Wang Erpan left, the grade-level head asked with a smile, Do you have any other requests, sir? My voice was calm. The teachers at your school are quite interesting, slandering Chu Nianfan without distinguishing right from wrong. Anyone who didn't know better would think he'd taken a bribe. Du Zitang's pupils contracted. He immediately lost his composure. I was just resolving a conflict between students normally. I didn't wrong anyone. Why do you keep targeting me? You've misunderstood. I have no intention of targeting you. I adjusted my sleeve and spoke slowly. It's just that you seem to believe anything people say, and you even let yourself be used as a pawn. With intelligence like this, I'm afraid you're not fit to teach Chu Nianfan. How about this? I'll have her transfer classes, change to a homeroom teacher with normal intelligence, lest the future heir of the Chu family be led astray. Du Zitang was so angry he was about to cry. No, Chu Nianfan can't transfer classes. If she transfers classes, how else can he get close to Chu Yuyu? Moreover, Chu Yuyu is very generous. The homeroom teacher and subject teachers who teach Chu Nianfan all receive an extra bonus every month. How could he be willing to give up this money? Du Zitang took a deep breath. I want to see Miss Chu. She's Chu Nianfan guardian. Only Miss Chu has the right to decide whether Chu Nianfan transfers classes or not. Still haven't given up, huh? Still thinking that Chu Yuyu actually respects him and has some other intentions toward him. I shook my head helplessly. Fine. Then you call Chu Yuyu and see what she says. Du Zitang snorted coldly, confident that Chu Yuyu would side with him. With that thought, he dialed Chu Yuyu number. The phone rang a few times, but the other end never picked up. The anticipation in Du Zitang's eyes gradually turned to panic. After the call disconnected automatically, he had to force an explanation. Ms. Chu is probably busy, or maybe she didn't hear the phone. I'll call her again right away. With that, Du Zitang prepared to call Chu Yuyu again. Don't bother. I took out the phone Chu Yuyu had prepared for me and dialed the only contact in the list. Let me call her. Hearing this, Du Zitang's face filled with contempt. Pfft, I'm Chu Nianfan teacher, and even when I call Miss Chu, she doesn't bother to answer. Why would she ever answer your call? Just as he finished speaking, the call connected. I put it on speaker, and Chu Yuyu gentle, watery voice came through. Honey, why are you suddenly calling me? Do you miss me? An invisible slap landed right across Du Zitang's face. In the office, everyone had a different expression. From holding back laughter, Chu Nianfan's face was beet red. The grade-level head let out a sigh of relief, inwardly celebrating. Good thing I took Chen Fan seriously just now and didn't look down on him. As for me, I smiled at Du Zitang and spoke slowly. I want to transfer Fan Bao to another class. Is that okay? Chu Yuyu was slightly surprised. Of course it is. You make all the decisions in this house, big or small. You don't need to discuss it with me. Your thoughts are my thoughts. You sure know your place. The smile on my lips became even more apparent. Du Zitang dazedly recovered from the shock. He never in a million years expected that the man before him was Chu Yuyu lover. Du Zitang was still not resigned. Miss Chu, how could you, for a man, casually change Nianfan teacher? Doing that will affect her future. Didn't you think highly of me? Only I can teach Nianfan before. When you put Nianfan in class 1, wasn't it because you valued me? Chu Yuyu found it inexplicably ridiculous. The class assignments were transparent. Nianfan just happened to be placed in class 1. Why should I value you? At the school, there are handfuls of teachers more senior than you. What's so special about you? Another stinging slap landed on Du Zitang's face. I let out a soft laugh. When Du Zitang looked over, I put on an apologetic expression. So sorry. I've been professionally trained. Normally I wouldn't laugh unless I can't hold it in. Chu Neonfan also chimed in with a few laughs, adding, "Me too." With that, I hung up the phone and looked at the grade-level head. Without even sparing Du Zitang half a glance, "Can we transfer Chu Neonfan class now?" After witnessing my status, the grade-level head nodded repeatedly. "Of course, sir. She can transfer to any class she wants." Seeing that everything was settled, I told Chu Neonfan to go with the grade-level head to choose a class. Now, only Du Zitang and I were left in the office. I stood just one step away from Du Zitang. "Don't think I can't see through your scheme? You want to get with Chu Yuyu? Too bad, she's mine. You can go home, wash your face, and go to sleep now." Leaving that sentence behind, I couldn't be bothered with Du Zitang anymore, and turned to leave. Du Zitang reacted in time and roared in anger, "Don't get too smug. To Xiao Chu, you're just a novelty. The person she truly loves is her late husband. You'll never be able to compare to him." My steps halted. Under Du Zitang's triumphant gaze, I spoke in a light tone. "What a coincidence. I'm the one she can't forget." I gave him a meaningful glance and turned to leave. After I left, Du Zitang seemed to have been drained of all his energy and schemes and collapsed into his chair. He felt a heavy stone weighing on his heart, crushing him to the point he couldn't breathe. How could this be? How could Chu Yuyu suddenly have a change of heart? Is it the corruption of human nature or the decline of morals? Du Zitang couldn't figure it out, but whenever he remembered that I was just wearing a white hoodie and jeans, but my aura completely outshone his, he would be filled with both jealousy and resentment. Meanwhile, the grade-level head had quickly finished transferring Chu Neonfan class. It was break time then. As soon as I stepped out of the office, quite a few students were staring at me curiously. "Is this a new teacher? He's so handsome, he must be a movie star, right?" I really want to ask if he plans to enter showbiz. If he does, I'll be the first to rush up and ask for an autograph. Hearing this chatter, the corners of my lips curled up as if reaching for the sun. Suddenly, Chu Neonfan's voice came from behind. Hey, you're feeling pretty pleased with yourself, aren't you? You brat, how did you?" "No." I walked side by side with Chu Neonfan. "You at school. Must be quite popular too, right? Inheriting this face from your dad, you can consider yourself lucky." Chu Neonfan wanted to retort, but looking at her father's features, she didn't know where to start. "Never mind, looks are everything. Can't argue with that. Dad even looks more than 10 years younger than Mom. If you compare them, she felt her mom should hit the gym more diligently to prevent some vixen from stealing Dad's heart." I didn't leave the school grounds immediately, but called the grade-level head over and told him to bring the report cards from the time of enrollment until now of Chu Neonfan to me. The grade-level head hesitated, wanting to say something, but finally said honestly, "Student Chu Neonfan report cards might be a little hard to look at. You should prepare yourself mentally." "How bad can it be?" "It's fine. I'm already mentally prepared." I smiled as I looked at the stack of report cards. After looking, it was clear my preparation was far from enough. On every single report card, Chu Neonfan's name was always at the bottom of the rankings. Her best performance was 5th from the bottom. In math, she even scored a 4 once. I almost doubted life itself. If you just dropped the multiple choice sheet on the ground and stepped on it, you might still get a double-digit score. Plus, the family rarely disciplined her, so her grades could never improve. If the parents paid a little more attention, the child's performance would definitely improve. I know, I will definitely discipline Chu Neonfan properly when I get back. I carefully put away the report cards, preparing to discuss with Chu Yuyu later the issue of our child's education. After finishing everything, I finally left with Guifeng. I returned from school and stayed in Autumn Garden. Yesterday's return was too rushed. I still haven't had a good look around Autumn Garden. Today, I finally have some free time. Strolling around, I even discovered a greenhouse. Inside were all my favorite flowers and plants. It shows just how thoughtful Chu Yuyu is. Butler Lin followed closely behind me and couldn't help but say, "Xiao Chu planted all these flowers herself. Normally, she never lets the servants get near them. If you found a woman like Xiao Chu, you should just marry into her family. Otherwise, you'll be playing with fire." I was speechless. "Uncle Lin, the most urgent thing right now is for you to take all those overbearing CEO novels in your room and throw them away immediately." After touring the greenhouse, I headed back, not forgetting to ask along the way, "Oh right, Fan Bao has a classmate named Lu Jie. Does he come from an ordinary background, getting bullied in a school for the rich?" I subconsciously assumed that Lu Jie must have gotten into this school through his academic achievements, and that his family had no background whatsoever. Butler Lin replied, "Young Master Lu is the only son of the Lu family. He and our young miss can be considered childhood sweethearts. They grew up together." Hearing this answer, I was quite surprised. "The Lu family?" Butler Lin explained further, "They're a newly risen power specializing in the jewelry business. Madame Lu and CEO Chu are business partners. They have some friendly relations. The Lu family was originally run by Madame Lu, but her husband doesn't like his wife being in the public eye. In addition, Madame Lu's younger brother constantly advises her to take a back seat, saying something about how women can't manage a household. Over time, Madame Lu has retreated to the background. After that, the head of the Lu family caused quite a few romantic scandals, and Madame Lu has been busy dealing with these messes, so she hasn't had time to manage young Master Lu." After hearing this, the corners of my mouth twitched uncontrollably. In short, this Madame Lu's husband is a gold digger who lives off his wife. Her younger brother is a leech, and she herself is hopelessly in love. Thus, a world where only Lu Jie gets hurt has officially been established. I drew a conclusion. The Liu family is truly hopeless, and another one hopelessly in love. It's truly terrifying. The sky gradually darkened towards evening. Chu Nianfan wasn't out of school yet, but Chu Yuyu had already come home. Butler Lin was a bit surprised to see Chu Yuyu home so early. He was a little surprised, but he quickly understood. That's right, before, Chu Yuyu didn't care about family because he wasn't home. Now that he has returned, even if Xiao Chu clung to the house every day and refused to leave, it wouldn't be surprising at all. After all, Xiao Chu is the type to be a little too attached. Just as Chu Yuyu finished changing her shoes and walked in, she saw me sitting on the sofa, holding a book in my hands. Her steps halted. Why are you suddenly reading a book like this? Could it be that someone has possessed you? Looking closely, How to Properly Raise a Piglet. Chu Yuyu sat down right next to me and hugged my arm tightly with both hands. Why did you suddenly look for this book? Do you want to raise a pig? I didn't even look up. Turning a page, I answered leisurely. I want to raise Chu Nianfan. Chu Yuyu. All right then, you're reading the right book. You really. I finally looked up to meet Chu Yuyu eyes. It's a good thing Fan Bao isn't here, or you two would be fighting again. Chu Yuyu raised an eyebrow. With you here, you'll give in to her. You two must have been mortal enemies in a past life. I closed the book, very naturally letting Chu Yuyu lean against my chest. This is my first time learning how to raise a child, so I don't know where to start. I've searched all the books on the shelf, and this is the only one I could find that's somewhat related. Right, have you ever looked at Fan Bao's report card? Chu Yuyu shook her head guiltily. Not yet. With Chu Nianfan, I always spoil her. I've never asked about her grades. What kind of mother are you? I sighed helplessly. Never mind. Starting today, we will raise our child together. As I spoke, I pulled out a report card and handed it to Chu Yuyu. Take a look. Chu Yuyu took it, and just a moment later, she pointed at the words on it. This is her rank, and this is her math score? Chu Yuyu fell completely silent, shutting her eyes tightly, hoping it was just her imagination. This report card is truly an eyesore, Chu Yuyu said with an extremely serious expression. We should go get a DNA test someday. I suspect Chu Nianfan isn't my biological daughter. What if she's the child who was switched at birth? Stop. I reached out and pinched Chu Yuyu's small cheeks. What nonsense are you talking about? Why are you just like Butler Lin, with a head full of novel plots? Not far away, Butler Lin was directing the maids. During a general cleaning and suddenly sneezed. Achoo, it's so dusty. I must tell the housemaids to clean one more time. What I mean is, we haven't managed Fan Bao properly before. It's time for a change. Chu Yuyu clearly took this to heart. After some thought, she asked tentatively, how about we hire a home tutor? I snapped my fingers. But we also have to supervise her studies and be determined to tutor Fan Bao so she can get into the best university. Chu Yuyu. Yes, I'll listen to you for everything. Just as she finished speaking, Chu Nianfan happened to return. Seeing me and Chu Yuyu being all lovey-dovey in the living room, she shivered slightly. So cheesy. Just as Chu Nianfan was about to return to her room, I suddenly called out, Wait a minute, Fan Bao, let's have a talk. Inside Chu Nianfan's bedroom, I sat at her desk, my legs crossed leisurely, holding a literature textbook in my hand. Come on, let Dad test you. An old man like me lets his young heart run wild. What's the next line? Chu Nianfan thought for a moment and replied, Cures kidney deficiency, sugar-free. For a moment, Chen Fan's eyes glazed over in shock. I took a deep breath and told myself, Don't get angry. Absolutely do not get angry. She's my own flesh and blood. Then what's the next line after reading 10,000 books? Then Chu Nianfan will be able to open a grocery store. I smiled and slammed the book shut, rolling it up. Fan Bao, come here. Chu Nianfan took a step forward with an innocent look. The next second, the book rolled into a tube, slammed decisively onto Chu Nianfan's head. The force was just right, enough to daze her without causing brain damage. Chu Nianfan jumped back. Dad, why did you suddenly hit me? You're the one I'm hitting? I casually tossed the book aside and scrutinized Chu Nianfan. This is clearly the most basic knowledge, yet you couldn't answer it. Chu Nianfan, who are you trying to fool? Tell me, why won't you study properly? Are you kidding me, Dad? Chu Nianfan rubbed the back of her neck. Du Ziding already said, even if I don't study hard, I can still go abroad for show later on. The Chu family's assets won't fall into others' hands anyway. Don't even think, she mumbled. That's not right, Chu Nianfan. What's not right? Everything I said is the truth. Still lying, Chu Nianfan lowered her head, pouting. All right, I just wanted to piss Mom off. I let out a sigh and said with deep meaning, You don't want to make your mother angry, you want to get her attention, you want her to care about you. Her deepest, truest thoughts were laid bare. Chu Nianfan's ears turned slightly red, a little unwilling to admit it. I spoke again. There's a misunderstanding between you and your mother, a distance, and I can mediate. But it's not worth it to throw away your future just to spite her. I don't want you to become someone who just freeloads and waits to die. The Chu family will be in your hands someday, so that Chu Yuyu and I have someone to rely on in our old age. Shouldn't you work a little harder? Chu Nianfan nodded, only half understanding. Get yourself ready. Starting tomorrow, your mother and I will take turns supervising you. Our goal is to get into a top university. Understood? Chu Nianfan didn't dare to understand. Even though every time she took a test, she deliberately tried to provoke Chu Yuyu, it didn't mean her grades were good, they just weren't terribly bad. If she actually took it seriously, she would only be in the lower middle ranks of her class. Get into a top university? That was more or less a bit difficult for her. While she was thinking, I suddenly grabbed the back of her neck. You better take my words to heart, otherwise, I let out a characteristic villainous laugh. Chu Naonfan immediately got goosebumps all over and nodded her head furiously. I understand, I'll definitely study hard, that's more like it. Chen Fan patted her shoulder. Keep it up, young one, I have high hopes for you. After closing Chu Nianfan's door, I looked at Chu Yuyu standing by the door. You heard all that, right? Chu Yuyu heard it. Chen Fan narrowed his eyes dangerously. Think about how you're going to bridge the gap between you and our daughter. If you can't solve it, well, sleep in separate rooms from now on. Chu Yuyu's anxious heart finally fell silent. The things she had to face, she couldn't escape them after all. How to get along with her daughter? She was forced to move forward at this moment. At the same time, in the room, Chu Nianfan recalled what I had just said, and picked up her math book. She stared at it seriously for a full 5 minutes. After looking at it, Chu Nianfan closed the book and fell into deep thought, looking at the 3 words mathematics book on the cover. This must be an English book, right? She realized that there was no way she could understand it just by studying on her own. After hesitating for a moment, she took out her phone and sent a message to Lu Jie. You there? The other person replied almost instantly. I'm here. What's up? Chu Nianfan, can you tutor me? Lu Jie, is that really you? If you've been kidnapped, you can blink to signal me. Chu Nianfan, it's me. I just want to study properly and improve every day. Do you have to be so surprised? Lu Jie, I do. Chu Nianfan was speechless. She sprawled out on the bed, staring at the ceiling, with a look of utter dejection. See? Even Lu Jie thinks she's not the type to study. The task her dad gave her was really too difficult. It's just too hard. 10th floor, Sinyan Entertainment. Many employees had already gone home, but the lights in the CEO's office were still on. Chen Jiang looked at the picture frame on her desk, her mind wandering. The photo was a portrait of the Chen family. I stood in the very center, smiling brightly. Chen Jing and Chen Mo weren't like they are now, one gloomy, the other rebellious. Chen Jiang's finger caressed the spot where I was standing, her voice a little hoarse when she spoke. Brother, I miss you so much. Do you not need me anymore? Just then, 2 knocks on the door pulled Chen Jiang from her thoughts. She quietly wiped away the faint tear that had formed in the corner of her eye, and her voice deepened. Come in. Chen Jiang's assistant entered and got straight to the point. Yesterday at the party, many people saw a man suddenly appear, acting intimately with Chu Youyu. After the young top celebrity entered the banquet hall, she went straight to find Chu Youyu. At first, she wanted to question Chu Youyu, but then for some reason, when she came out, it was as if she had been appeased. Also, this is a photo of that man. Please take a look, boss. The assistant handed the photo they had investigated to Chen Jiang. Chen Jiang took the photo and was stunned at first glance. The photo only showed the man's side profile, but she recognized at a glance that it was Chen Fan. Chen Jiang was a little flustered and unconsciously called out, "Brother." As soon as she said it, she realized something was wrong. This person couldn't be Chen Fan. Her brother had been missing for 13 years. Even if he suddenly appeared, his appearance would have definitely changed. But in this photo, Chen Fan's appearance was exactly the same as 13 years ago. Someone must have gotten plastic surgery to look like Chen Fan. It's just that, what tricks did this person use to make both Chu Youyu and Chen Mo choose to trust him? And what is his purpose? Chen Jiang even suspected this person had cast a spell on Chen Mo and Chu Youyu. She casually picked up the lighter on the desk. With a click, a flame flared up. In an instant, the photo was engulfed by the flame. Watching the ashes scatter onto the desk, Chen Jiang's gaze grew deeper. She wouldn't allow anyone to impersonate Chen Fan. She definitely couldn't tolerate this fake being by her sister's side. This imposter must be dealt with at the root. Seeing that Chu Nianfan hadn't replied to his message, Lu Jie sat at his desk, lost in thought for a long time. A moment later, he took out his 10th grade math textbook and workbook and started from the first page, looking for key knowledge points and corresponding basic exercises. The sound of the pen tip scratching against the paper became the only sound left in the room. The young man's eyelashes were lowered slightly, his expression extremely focused and serious. With a click, the door to the room was pushed open from the outside. Lu Jie's hand movements paused as Madame Lu, who had taken her husband's surname, entered, carrying a plate of peeled fruit. Meng Chengyu's face was somewhat haggard, with hard-to-conceal dark circles under her eyes. When she spoke, her voice was a little hoarse. Xiaojie, I haven't been paying much attention to you lately. If you run into any difficulties with your studies, be sure to tell me. Looking at the pre-cut mango slices, Lu Jie was slightly stunned, and a bitter smile immediately appeared on his lips. He replied softly, I know, thank you, Mom. Meng Chengyu reached out and stroked Lu Jie's head. This child, why are you thanking your mother? I'm your mother. Lu Jie didn't reply, he just speared a piece of mango with his fork. The moment he put it in his mouth, his eyebrows furrowed slightly. Meng Chengyu, seeing he didn't speak, sighed softly. Then I'll head out first. You get back to your studies, and remember to rest early. After the door closed, Lu Jie slowly put down the fork and picked up the glass of water beside him to rinse his mouth. He didn't like eating mangoes, and he had told Meng Chengyu this more than once, but Meng Chengyu had never once paid it any mind. A bitter feeling washed over him. Lu Jie took a deep breath, focusing his attention on the workbook in front of him, trying not to let his thoughts wander. Outside the door, after closing the door, Meng Chengyu felt something wasn't quite right. Lu Ji has already finished the entire high school curriculum, so why is he pulling out 10th grade books now, along with a workbook full of basic questions? Even if he wanted to review, he wouldn't start from the very beginning, would he? Just as Meng Chengyu was completely baffled, the butler approached. Madam, Mr. Lu is back. Meng Chengyu's eyes immediately lit up, throwing everything else to the back of her mind. She said with a smile, he must be exhausted coming back this late. Go prepare a hot bath quickly. The butler was used to it. Whenever it came to Lu Chengqing's matters, Meng Chengyu would immediately put everything else aside, with eyes and heart only for her husband. He sighed softly, not knowing how to advise her, and just went to do as Meng Chengyu wished. The next morning, Chu Yoyu and I spent the whole night at the desk. I racked my brains to improve Chu Nianfan's grades, while Chu Yoyu was forced to write out 100 ways to communicate with our daughter. You could say both of them had completely exhausted their minds. Finally, Chu Yoyu rubbed her temples and exclaimed, I've never used this much strength, not even when I was a baby breastfeeding. Chen Fan gave a thumbs up. I feel the same way. Chu Yoyu really has a way with words. So the moment the alarm clock rang, the resentment radiating from me could have fed 10 evil sword immortals. I crawled out of bed in an extremely contorted posture. I'm awake all right, but it came at a price. Forgive everything before sleep, wake up wanting to destroy the world. After I finished brushing my teeth and washing my face, I looked at Chu Youyu's serious expression and tutted twice. Your diligent appearance is scaring me. After the two of them went downstairs, I had just looked up when I saw Chu Nianfan sitting dazedly in the dining room. What's this? How is it that after just one night, my daughter seems to have gotten even dumber? I didn't dare to open my eyes wide, hoping it was just an illusion. After a long moment, I finally had to face reality. I walked up to Chu Nianfan and waved my hand. This young lady? Why are you sitting here all dazed by yourself? Would you be willing to have some breakfast with this young scholar and then head to the library together? Chu Nianfan. Is he hallucinating? Where did this historical drama-style dad come from? I took the opportunity to sit down next to her, picked up a xiaolong bao to eat, and asked while eating, Did you get your life force sucked out? Why are you so listless? Chu Nianfan's mouth twitched slightly. It's a long story. She had struggled all night yesterday, but her self-test score was only just over 70. Getting into a top university was truly a distant dream. But she didn't want to disappoint me. After hesitating for a long time, she recounted what happened last night and added one more thing. The moment I said I wanted to study properly, even Lu Ji suspected my body had been taken over by someone else. Oh man, am I a huge failure? After speaking, Chu Nianfan's eyes reddened slightly. Seeing this scene, my heart melted. How could that be? I patted my daughter's shoulder lightly and replied with rare gentleness, Even if you're the dregs of society, in your parents' eyes, you are the absolute best. You just refuse to study properly. It's not that you can't learn. As long as you're willing to work hard, regardless of the final outcome, at least you've made progress. This father feels very gratified. As I spoke, I shot a look at Chu Yoyu. Chu Yoyu was silent for a moment, then reluctantly spoke up. I also feel very gratified. Chu Nianfan's originally gloomy and hazy eyes, after being comforted and relieved by me, immediately brightened up a notch. She became even more determined. I will definitely get into a top university. I patted my daughter's shoulder lightly, extremely satisfied. Very good. At this moment, I suddenly remembered something. Oh right, your mother has something to say to you. Chu Nianfan frowned and unconsciously looked towards Chu Yoyu. What is it? Chu Yoyu cleared her throat, meeting Chu Nianfan's gaze. She seemed to have made up her mind. The corners of her lips curved up at an extremely slow pace, and she said gently, Daughter, good morning. I love you. The moment these words were spoken, the entire dining room fell silent. Chu Nianfan was stunned, while I, at her side, was laughing silently. Chu Youyu's face turned as red as a monkey's butt, trying to pretend she had forgotten what she'd just done. One moment she was rubbing her forehead, the next she was putting food on my plate. It turns out that when people get embarrassed, they really will pretend to be very busy. CEOs are no exception. The silence lasted for a long time. I tried to hold back my laughter and patted the back of Chu Nianfan's neck. Say something, Chu Nianfan blushed and squeezed out a sentence. Thank you, Mom. Chu Yoyu, you're welcome. This scene, both mother and daughter were so awkward they could have dug out a 3-bedroom apartment with their toes. Only I had a look of complete satisfaction. Not bad, not bad. The first step to mending the mother-daughter relationship was successfully taken under my supervision. After breakfast, I was still the one to take Chu Nianfan to school. On the way, I tactfully asked if Chu Nianfan wanted to hire a tutor. The weather is really nice today. Daughter, how about I find a tutor for you? Chu Nianfan touched her chin and thought for a moment and nodded. Okay. She couldn't keep up with the current pace of learning at school anymore, nor could she expect Lu Jai to spend all his time teaching her. The only way was to get extra help outside. Seeing that his daughter had nodded, I immediately sent a message to Chu Yoyu. Potato potato, this is Sweet Potato. Chu Yoyu, I am here. The matter of finding a tutor for our daughter, I'm entrusting this mission to you, Chu Yoyu. Roger that, boss. I guarantee it'll satisfy you. I put away my phone with a look of utter satisfaction. These trivial matters are more or less taken care of. Next, I should go find my second and third younger sisters. One quiet sister, one yonder sister. I just felt my head grow a size larger. It's so hard to handle. While I was thinking, the car had already arrived at the school gate. I got out of the car as well. Just as I was about to watch Chu Nianfan's back as she entered the school, she hadn't taken 2 steps when a figure suddenly rushed out from the side. Chen Fan immediately stood in front of Chu Nianfan, casting a sharp gaze at the newcomer. Well, isn't this teacher Du? Du Zidang no longer had his glamorous and sleek appearance from yesterday. Instead, he had a tired expression. His eyes held a hint of resentment as he looked at me, but it vanished in a flash. He took a deep breath, then clenched his fists and said softly, "What will it take for you to let me go?" I was completely clueless and asked bluntly, "Are you talking to some celestial being? Anyone who didn't know would think I was bullying you." Du Zidang gritted his teeth and replied, "Aren't you bullying me? You snitched to Miss Chu, causing the school to fire me. I can't lose this job. Are you trying to drive me to my death? How can you be so cruel?" I understood now. It turned out Chu Yuyu had secretly gotten revenge for her. If Du Zidang was fired, then the Wang family side must be feeling the chill too. Time to make the Wang Corp go bankrupt. While I was thinking, Chu Nianfan, like a little leopard, took a few steps forward and stood in front of Chen Fan, roaring, "Can you stop spouting shit from your mouth?" Du Zidang showed a look of disappointment, as if deeply hurt, and clutched his chest. "Chu Nianfan, is this how I taught you? You're just like Miss Chu. You've both been bewitched by this scumbag," seeing Chu Nianfan's annoyed face, and that she wanted to keep cursing. But seeing that quite a few people had gathered around, I quickly grabbed my combustible and explosive daughter, and said with a smile, "Fan Bao, you go ahead to your morning self-study session first. Leave this to Dad." Chu Nianfan was still a little worried at first, but when she thought of her dad's combat power, she nodded. "Then I'll go in first." "Be careful, Dad. Don't get bitten by a dog." I nodded repeatedly. "Got it." Seeing that someone could restrain the school's little tyrant, many people turned towards Chen Fan with curious gazes, among the people watching the commotion and quite a few parents. This person is not simple at all. It seems there's another figure in the capital that you can't mess with. After Chu Nianfan left, I smiled at Du Zidang and asked seriously, "Excuse me, what were you just barking about?" Du Zidang's face turned beet red, and he argued with a strained neck. "Was I wrong? You're the one who seduced Miss Chu and led Chu Nianfan down the wrong path. I've always been dedicated to teaching every student. I've never done anything wrong. On what grounds did you go tattling to Miss Chu and get me fired? What did I do wrong?" As soon as these words were spoken, many people around who didn't know the situation started looking at me differently. He's truly abusing his power to bully people. That guy doesn't look like a good person at all. Shh, keep your voice down, Chu, you. You listens to everything this person says. You still dare to speak ill of him. If he gets unhappy, I really don't dare to imagine the consequences. So tyrannical. Is there any justice left? Is there any law left? I have to admit, this teacher is quite pitiful. He clearly did nothing wrong, yet he somehow offended Chu Yuyu's man. Hearing the discussions, a flash of triumph crossed Du Zidang's eyes. Looking at his expression, I heaved a sigh of relief. It's a good thing I transferred Chu Nianfan's class. Du Zidang is clearly a bit of an idiot, and his character is rotten. You could call him both stupid and vicious. I crossed my arms over my chest, waited for the surrounding whispers to die down a bit, then slowly spoke. "Teacher Du, are you sure you haven't made any mistakes in all your years of teaching?" Du Zidang tried to suppress his guilt. "Of course." "All right, very good." I calmly took out my phone. "I really admire your thick skin, teacher. I bet even a needle wouldn't draw blood." Du Zidang's expression changed slightly. He said in a cold voice, "What do you mean by that?" "Shh, you're hurting my ears, teacher." I placed my index finger on my lips, and after speaking, I played a recording. Let's see Teacher Du's true colors. Before Du Zidang could react, his voice came from the phone. "Student Moose grades need improvement, but as a teacher, I can't take care of every single student in the class. Parent, if you want me to pay special attention to Student Mew, you have to give me a little something. As for me, I've had my eye on a watch lately. You see?" "Oh, that's not what I meant. But if you insist on buying it for me, I can't possibly refuse your kindness." "Just wait, today I will. Move Student Moose seat to the front." As soon as the recording finished playing, the entire scene fell silent. Everyone's gaze turned towards Du Zidang. From the initial pity and sympathy, it turned into utter disgust. "I didn't," Du Zidang tried to argue. "Don't be in such a hurry, Teacher Du. I forgot to ask. In your class, isn't there a poor student who got in on their grades? I have a video. I'd like you to see it." As I spoke, I played another video, showing it to everyone. In the video, Du Zidang grabbed a little girl and dragged her to the office. I don't know what he said, but a minute later, he gave the girl a push. Although no one could hear the conversation clearly, everyone saw that decisive action clearly. I smiled at Du Zidang's horrified expression. "Teacher Du, I think you owe everyone an explanation." As soon as I finished speaking, the whole hall erupted in an uproar. Du Zidang has too many scandals. In the future, when the school hires teachers, can they be more discerning? Stop hiring people with twisted morals. All the well-behaved children are being corrupted. Isn't that the truth? I've seen this teacher to pull tricks before. I didn't expect his ambition to be so great. Pfft, he's too delusional. Does he really think Chu Yu would look at him? It's one thing not to have a mirror at home, but doesn't he look at himself when he goes to the bathroom? I was even defending him just now. He's just treating us like monkeys to be played with. Tesk. Du Zideng really shot himself in the foot. His mind went blank. He could only stare at me, his hands hanging at his sides clenched into fists. He said in a deep voice, "You're humiliating me. You're still concerned about these trivial things that nobody cares about?" I let out a laugh and took 2 steps closer to Du Zideng. "You should think about how you're going to live from now on. Not only have you offended Chu Yoyu, but all the dirty things you've done have also been exposed to the public. If I were you, I would definitely pack my bags and move to another planet to live. Oh, that's right. They'll release all the videos and recordings with the victims' faces blurred. You'll probably have to endure a little more public pressure." Surprised? How does it feel to get a taste of your own medicine? Du Zideng was speechless for a long time, unable to utter a single word. He just felt his vision go dark, then darker still. The beautiful dream of becoming Mr. Chu was shattered, and his future was gone too. He had lost. Du Zideng seemed to have lost all his strength and tricks. Under everyone's gaze, he just slumped to the ground, his eyes vacant. Chen Fan looked down at him from above and clicked his tongue softly. "Du Zideng, your clown's red nose has fallen off." As soon as the words were spoken, I turned and walked away, leaving only Du Zideng frozen on the spot, enduring thousands of criticisms. At the same time, Chu Nianfan had transferred to Class 3. The homeroom teacher of Class 3 was named Jin, an old man with glasses, with a kind face. He usually carried a thermos and was always happy and smiling. Seeing Chu Nianfan enter, Teacher Jin cleared his throat and said in a loud voice, "Let's welcome our new classmate, Chu Nianfan. Student Chu, would you like to introduce yourself?" Chu Nianfan slung her backpack over one shoulder, one hand in her pocket. Her uniform jacket was somehow tied around her waist. She really didn't look like a good student. Upon hearing she had to introduce herself, she brazenly stood on the podium and raised an eyebrow, saying, "I don't need to introduce myself, do I? Anyone who doesn't know me shouldn't even be in this school, old man. What are you doing?" Teacher Jin was holding his phone, pointing the camera straight at Chu Nianfan, diligently filming her. He even explained casually, "Your dad told me to record this. He wants to see how you introduce yourself." In the very next moment, Chu Nianfan quickly untied the uniform jacket from her waist and put on her backpack properly. Facing her classmates, a radiant smile suddenly appeared on her face. "Hello everyone, my name is Chu Nianfan. I hope we can all live together peacefully in the future, help each other, and spend the beautiful days ahead together." Not only were the students below the podium stunned, but even Teacher Jin's hand trembled slightly. "Is this still Chu Nianfan?" This face-changing speed could qualify for the Guinness World Records. After the introduction, Chu Nianfan sat at the seat by the window in the 3rd row. She was very well behaved during the morning self-study session. After observing, Teacher Jin looked extremely relieved. Didn't everyone say Chu Nianfan was a problem child? She's clearly a good kid. Chu Nianfan, who happened to be walking by and heard this, almost tripped over herself. She never in a million years thought that one day, she would be associated with the words, "good kid." This is really too bizarre. Under Teacher Jin's smiling eyes, Chu Nianfan walked out of the classroom. Lu Jie was waiting at the door, holding a math textbook and workbook. Seeing her come out, his eyes lit up, and he walked over with a bright smile. "Sister Nianfan, I've marked all the key concepts, and I've also circled the corresponding basic exercises. If there's anything you don't understand, just ask me. I hope we can get into the same university in the future." When Lu Jie spoke, his eyes sparkled. Chu Nianfan was visibly stunned. By the time she came back to her senses, Lu Jie had already stuffed the math book and workbook into her arms and turned and ran off. Looking at the boys retreating back, Chu Nianfan felt her heart beating a little fast. The kid probably shouldn't have stayed up late last night. Getting into the same university as Lu Jie? Are you kidding? Lu Jie is the top student in the grade, a candidate who could get directly admitted to Peking University. She figured she could study until she went bald and still not have that kind of ability. Chu Nianfan felt a little depressed. Meanwhile, on the way back to Qiu Yuan, I made a phone call to Chu Yoyu and learned that the Wang family had gone bankrupt. I also heard from Chu Yoyu that the head of the Wang family himself was no saint. He didn't sleep with the ones he should have, and slept with all the ones he shouldn't have. Therefore, I no longer felt any psychological burden. I was planning to go home and catch up on sleep, but when the car stopped in front of the main house, I looked up and saw another luxury car, also parked at the entrance. I muttered to myself, "Do we have guests?" Qiu Yuan's main hall. Butler Lin looked at the 2 big shots before him, not even daring to breathe loudly. What ill wind blew them here? While he was lost in thought, Chen Jing took a cup of tea from the nanny, her voice gentle. "Thank you." She held the teacup and looked at Chen Jiang with smiling eyes. "Sister, there's someone impersonating brother." Under her sunglasses, cold glint flashed in Chen Jing's eyes. Chen Jiang nodded, patiently explaining. Xiao Mo and Chu Yoyu both believe him. They even allow that person imitating brother to live in Qiu Yuan. The cold aura around Chen Jing became even more pronounced. At this moment, she was like a venomous snake flicking its tongue. Although she was smiling, the words that came out of her mouth had no warmth at all. Brother is one of a kind. Anyone who dares to imitate brother deserves to die. She meant it. She wasn't joking at all. Anyone who truly knew Chen Jing knew her nature was inherently morbid and dark. Butler Lin couldn't help but tremble slightly, silently muttering to himself, "Madam, please come home quickly. There are demons in the house. He's just an old man. How could he handle these two powerful figures?" Butler Lin hadn't been praying for even a minute when the door to the main house was pushed open. A figure stepped inside. The moment he saw the person who arrived, Butler Lin's heart, which had been in his throat, finally settled. His god has arrived. As soon as I entered the house, I felt that the temperature inside was a few degrees lower than usual. I immediately instructed, "Butler Lin, the air conditioning in the house is too cold. Turn it up." Before I could finish, I noticed the gazes fixed on me. Following their line of sight, the moment I saw Chen Jiang and Chen Jing, I held my breath. And when I noticed the dangerous, cold aura emanating from my two younger sisters, I added another sentence. "Turn it up to 60 degrees. Butler Lin, please don't make things difficult for an old man." On the other side, when Chen Jiang and Chen Jing saw Chen Fan, they were both stunned. Especially Chen Jing, whose eyes, originally filled with coldness, became clear in an instant. She even shot up from her seat and whispered softly, "Brother, you're back, Xiao Jing." Chen Jiang was the first to regain her composure, reminding her in a low voice, "He is not brother." Pausing for a moment, she turned to look at me and said flatly, "Sir, a cloned sheep lived for 6 years. How many years do you want to live?" When it came to matters concerning her brother, Chen Jiang rarely spoke so many words at once. Chen Jing reacted in time and sat back down. She tapped her toes lightly, trying not to look at the face that was almost identical to her brother's, and said in a cold voice, "Choose a way to die." I answered seriously, "Die of old age." Chen Jing. What a bizarre way of thinking. If brother were here, he would probably answer the same way.